Um, the legendary flower Auguste was once all the rage in Fontaine, but went completely extinct amidst a sea of flame. Many years later, rumors of Auguste reappearing in SUMERU spread like wildfire, and all manner of people rushed to Port Ormos. The delayed judgment shall finally be delivered, and the smoldering ember shall reignite. The people create floriography for flowers, imbue perfume with symbolism, and attach their love and hatred to objects to remind themselves to never forget. Boom, unlocked. I have no idea what I just read, but you know what? We're doing this. Oh my gosh, yeah, my teapot is capped. Wait, let me go to my teapot first, please. Let me... Because leveling up friendship is already so slow with the teapot that, like, if I don't do this, I'm literally gonna forget.
This realm is...
Is anyone even close to maxed out? No, nobody's close. Y'all, how do I level up friendship really quick? Oh, you know what? You know what? I know what people are gonna say. I need to do domains with them, don't I? Well, rightfully, I should be able to look. Hey, there's 8 days left of the patch, and I just got the battle pass level 1. Oh, why am I like this? So if Amelie is from Mondstadt, and this is happening during the Fontaine arc, why are we going to SUMERU? Y'all, is there any treasures at those boats over there? I've actually never gone out to those boats. I feel like there's treasure to be had. Hina would know. Hina did the freaking 100%ing, 100%. Only in the port. Oh, the boats have nothing. Okay, none way out there. Oh. Okay, story quest time.
I thought I told him to spray it with water to retain moisture before applying
in this
the
day
film.
and age.
You can't treat a glazed
Hina,
lady
it's time
like
to roll him
cactus.
again.
If Sanjay does this again, the loss will have to come out of his food expenses.
I'll go talk to him. At this rate, he won't even be able to afford eating cacti for much longer.
Tainari?
Oh, it's you two. It's been a while. What brings you to Port Ormos?
We didn't have anything to do, and this place looked pretty lively, so we decided to stop by. But, what's with all the flowers around here?
Well, Port Ormos is currently organizing a flower exhibition featuring flowers and plants from all over Teyvat, so I came to help out. The exhibition includes flowers from every corner of the world, each with their own unique properties and needs. With that in mind,
Port
the
Ormos
curator
is such a
commissioned a flower
vibe.
pot from Kasharawar capable of retaining heat and moisture. Even so, an expert
This
is
quest
still
made you
required to
nostalgic for
develop tailored
SUMERU.
transportation and care plans for each type of flower.
Oh, and that expert is you, right?
Not this time, no. I'm
No,
just
I
here to
really
help out.
prefer Fontaine
The
over
expert in charge
SUMERU.
is someone else.
But SUMERU is really good.
Mr. Tainari! Sanjay! He confused the poisonous bulbs with garlic shoots, and he ate them!
See, I'm kind of conflicted because
never
I
mind.
really like,
Forget about what I said
as
about the
a
food expenses.
child
Apologies,
of
traveler,
literal
Paimon.
professional gardeners.
Looks like I've got something to take care of. I'll be back in just a moment.
As a child of
Tainari's
literal
busy no matter where
professional
he is, huh?
gardeners, I have a bias towards plants and flowers and all of that. So obviously I should really like SUMERU, right? But I also am a huge fan of that whole cyberpunk aesthetic, not cyberpunk. What is it called? Steampunk. You know, like technology. So I really like Fontaine for that too. Nubalet's story quest is the only piece of story content in this game that actually brought me to tears. Because of, it wasn't even because of Nubalet himself. It wasn't because, it was literally because the character was happy. Was trying to be, you know, a really, really positive character, realized, was just basically asking why are people like this, and I just
Yeah,
that
seems
is
like it.
literally like that is.
Don't get
I can't even
pregnant
talk
like
too
that.
much about it.
Be super careful about what she eats. Well, looks like
I
Tiger
will
might be busy
say
for a
that
while.
the
Let's take a look around
Fontaine
the fort
arc,
in the meantime.
I have expectations. So, for the most part, I'm not gonna say every single story quest during the Fontaine arc has been fantastic. I'm specifically calling out Sino's second story quest with Sethos here, and also Riceley's story quest. Both of those I was honestly kind of disappointed in. I mean, I guess Sino's was okay, question mark, but Riceley's especially I was disappointed in. But in general, besides those two, I've been really, really happy with the Fontaine story quests. Well, happy. I've been satisfied. Like, I think they've been really, really good. Really, really, really good.
Look at these flowers. They smell so...
Huh?
It's her, the lady at the hour. See, I liked Riceley's backstory and all that too. I just wish that he didn't, you know, decide to dump it on us at the very, very end of the quest.
Hi, fine. She's just
Itch.
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilia's? No wonder.
Deepa, I think Riceley's story quest is honestly one of the weakest written of the entire Fontaine arc, and it's not even close. It's not even close.
It's getting worse. Why?
And apparently it's a really, I think it's a really controversial opinion because I got a bunch. Well, not a bunch. I got quite a bit of negative feedback during that video, that Riceley Story Quest video. I got a bit of negative feedback during that. People complaining like, why are you being so critical of this quest? Blah, 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 blah.
But I was fine just a moment
But
ago.
I was
She
genuinely
didn't
not a
even
happy
eat
camper
anything
during that.
weird.
A moment of your time, you two? If it's not too much trouble, perhaps you could try this incense.
She's gonna freaking knock us out. So Amelie is supposed to be from
Oh, the scent is so nice.
Mondstadt, right? Or am I wrong? I honestly forget.
Whoa,
Or
that
is she
was
from
fast.
Fontaine?
Paimon doesn't have to sneeze anymore.
I don't even know anymore. She's from Fontaine. I thought Mondstadt characters talked about her though, or am I thinking of somebody else? Wasn't there a voice line? Didn't a bunch of Mondstadt characters have voice lines about her, or am I wrong?
Think nothing of it.
Who am I thinking
from your
of?
attire, I imagine you two aren't from SUMERU either. Seeing as we're both travelers from abroad,
Am I delusional? I'm
it's only
delusional. I
right
might be
that we help
delusional.
each other out should the occasion arise.
I keep making things up like a crazy person.
Oh, so you're here for the flower exhibition too?
I suppose that's accurate.
Didn't...
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Emilie.
Oh,
a
see, she is
consumer
from Fontaine. But wait, I thought Mondstadt characters... Where is she? Where's What's-Her-Face? I swear to God, somebody had a voice line about her. From Mondstadt. Was it you? I'm actually looking this up right now because I don't want to feel like a crazy person. I think Chiori and that crew has talked about her. But I could have sworn other people from other regions talked about her too.
It's Paimon. Thank you so much for your help just now. Oh, and this is...
The Traveler, right? I've heard a lot about you from the Steambird. It's nice to finally put a face to the name.
I heard a bit about you as
What
well.
happened back there? Why did Paimon start sneezing all of a sudden?
Have you ever heard of hay fever?
Maybe I had hay
To put
fever.
it simply, when inhaled, certain pollens can trigger abnormal physical reactions.
But Paimon has seen these kinds of flowers before and nothing weird happened then.
Maybe I am crazy.
Well, we're all different. The factors
Maybe I
that
am the
can trigger
crazy
a
one.
reaction
Maybe
to
I'm just a
certain stimuli
Lulu.
vary by
I just
person.
gaslighted myself
In
into saying all that.
isolation, the effects of certain pollens may seem minimal, but inhaling various types at once can trigger a
It wouldn't be
more
the first
overt
time that I've been
reaction.
completely wrong. Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's
Emily
no
is
need
in
to
fact from
worry.
Fontaine.
Pollen
Yeah,
allergies
she
can
said
be
that.
effectively mitigated
But
with
I
the
could have
use of
sworn
medication.
there was some Mondstadt
Oh,
characters
well,
that had
that's
lines about her.
good.
Maybe I'm
Traveler,
just delusional.
Paimon, there you are. Is everything all right?
I like her
I left in
design.
such a hurry, I forgot
Her
to warn
outfit
you
is
about all the
very
pollen in the air.
fashionista. Very, very Fontaine.
Emily? Ah, what a coincidence. Looks like my worry was misplaced then.
Also,
The
am I
Traveler and
mispronouncing
Paimon are
her
in good
name?
hands.
I could have sworn it was
It was
Amelie.
nothing, really. We happened to run into each other
But
shortly after my
maybe-
arrival, and I offered them a bit of help.
Would that
that's
not
all.
be the French way of
I'm
saying
more
it?
curious as to why you thought the Traveler and Paimon
I
were
don't.
in
Default.
danger.
Default.
Allergies are highly
It's Emily.
unpredictable.
Okay. It's just
If you were
Emily.
concerned the pollen might trigger a reaction, that must mean
Would that
something
not be the
similar
French way
has
of saying it?
happened in the past.
Yeah. I guess that's right. Amelie, like with an A.
Remember
Emilie.
the first time we met?
Look at
You
that
fainted
art. It's
after
so
inhaling
cute.
Spirit Borneal.
Wait, so the one who made this was
The Spirit Borneal didn't affect Paimon at all, and now she's the one suffering. It makes no sense.
It's not really something you can make sense
so
out
it
of,
was
Paimon.
her?
There are all kinds of allergies out there, caused by a variety of different factors. Some people are even allergic to almonds. It's not something you can generalize.
Fun fact, y'all, I'm allergic
Exactly.
to roaches.
I even encountered a case
I should
in
take another
Fontaine
one of
where
those
someone
allergy
had an
blood
allergic
tests.
reaction to soba noodles their family brought back from Inazuma.
Whoa. Good thing Paimon isn't allergic
You're
to
allergic to
anything
roaches
delicious.
too, Hina? Oh my god.
In a manner of speaking, although you could say the patients I deal with are rather unusual.
In addition to medicine,
So she
Emily is
specializes
also
in
very knowledgeable
aromatherapy
about
and botany.
She's taught me a lot about the native flora around Fontaine.
And that's where my expertise
Does anyone
ends,
try
I'm afraid.
aromatherapy?
When it comes to breath of knowledge, Tainari certainly comes
I'm
out
not
on
much of a
top.
believer in aromatherapy. I just think I like smelling things.
A flower expert? Oh, Paimon's got it! You must be the expert Tainari mentioned, the one in charge of the exhibition!
Oh my god, there were a bunch of roaches around you in the
Wrong
Philippines.
Again, I'm afraid.
Well, I did come for the exhibition, but only to inquire about the Auguste
Wait,
variety.
what was
I'm not involved in
was,
any official capacity.
causing your allergies in the Philippines? They fly everywhere. I can never go to the Philippines. Are you kidding me? What if I just want to chill somewhere and then there's just a flying roach?
Oh, Paimon was sure she got it right this time.
It's a kind of flower that was once popular
Okay,
in
so the
Fontaine.
Auguste.
The perfume made from it also bears the same name, Auguste.
Auguste.
Auguste, huh?
Auguste. Auguste
That
is on the
sounds
loose.
easier often nowadays.
Auguste is on the
In
loose.
ancient language, the word is said to mean sacred or noble. It's sometimes used as a name for people as well.
Like Augustus.
That reminds me, are you familiar with a historical event in Fontaine known as Perfume Mania?
No.
Perfume Mania was an event that occurred in Fontaine nearly 20 years ago.
Are y'all a huge
It
fan
all started when
of
several
La
merchants released
Roche-Posay?
their own lines of high-end, expensive perfumes, marketing them as must-have luxury products, the very symbol of elegance itself. No one anticipated
them
the
all.
absolute frenzy this would create on the market, causing the price of perfumes to skyrocket. The demand was twofold. What some saw as a status symbol, most saw as a money-making
Y'all,
opportunity. You could
hearing
take
them
advantage
talk
of the
about
soaring price by
August,
hoarding
naming
them
somebody
and
August made me
reselling at
think
even
about
higher margins.
naming somebody after a month, and then naming somebody after a month made me think about March from Fields of Mystria. Is anybody playing Fields of Mystria? I really want to play it, but I need a Steam Deck. I need a Steam Deck to play that.
The value of these products became so inflated, regular bottles of perfume were even going for hundreds of thousands of mora. This resulted in countless disputes and scams. But at the end of the day, perfume is just perfume.
If there was
The market value greatly exceeded the intrinsic worth of the
a
product,
Switch version, I would
creating
get
an
it.
economic bubble that was never going to last.
Speaking of economic bubbles, have you heard of this thing called AI?
Luckily, the Palais Mermonia recognized the danger and intervened before the craze could truly spread.
Look, I also thought about
Many
March
profiteers
7th,
and
but when it
scammers were
comes
thrown in
to
jail
March,
as a result.
March is which March would I prefer? I think it's really obvious.
In the end, only a few wealthy families were affected when the bubble popped.
What does all this have to do with that Auguste you mentioned earlier?
Well, during the craze, the most popular perfume was none other than Auguste. The demand far exceeded the supply. To the point where
10
one sold for
million
10 million
mora?
mora a bottle.
I could level up a character to like level 80 with that kind of mora.
10 million? Then what about now?
How dare I get called out for my taste in men? Look. I always be seeing these women-loving women enjoying their women. And guess what? I be minding my business. I don't be saying that their taste is
After the mania
terrible.
ended, most perfumes returned to a normal price.
I'm just trying to
Auguste was the
vibe.
only exception.
I have never ever said a women's taste in women is terrible.
Its namesake, the
Ever.
flower used to create it, went extinct. As a result, no
Have
new
I said a
bottles of
man's
Auguste have
taste
been
in
made,
women is
and the value
terrible?
of the perfume remains
Probably.
exceedingly high. Indeed, the Auguste flower was not a natural
I'm
variety
sorry,
of seed.
Amelie.
It was specially cultivated for use in perfume making. When the bubble popped, all the flower beds used for its cultivation were destroyed in a fire. The variety has never been seen since.
They burned the flowers? Okay, that's disheartening. Well, actually, to be fair, there is kind of an art to that. To crop burning, if you burn the crops down, the ashes actually serve as really good nutrients.
But didn't you say you came to the exhibition to
But
look
to
for
burn
it?
down an entire population?
Ah, yes. I came to investigate a certain rumor that the Auguste flower has reappeared in SUMERU. It's causing quite the stir in the Fontaine perfume market.
Traveler, we should help Emilie look for it.
Girl, wait,
have to
wasn't there
agree.
another quest
Emily
like
wrote me
this?
to ask if I could
A
look into
flower
the
that's
rumor.
supposedly
But the
extinct.
forest rangers haven't
I
received
think there
any
was something
reports
like
of
this
new
in
plant species
Wuwa.
recently.
Even if I can locate the flower, I'm afraid you'll be
And this was
disappointed,
also a
Paimon.
quest
I
in
don't
Scarlet
have any grand
Nexus.
mora-making endeavors
I'm
planned.
pretty sure this was a quest in Final Fantasy XIV.
Divine, noble, one of a kind. All beautiful sentiments to be sure. But
Tifa, have you
to
been
me, they
productive? I haven't been
overshadow the very
productive. I
essence of
mean,
the
it's okay
product.
because I've been productive all
When it
morning.
comes to perfume, I want people to forget the price and the prestige and focus on the beauty of the fragrance itself.
Wow, so
Speaking of fragrance, I
noble.
smell food.
Of course,
It's not for
there's
me.
also a
The
more
food isn't for
practical
me,
reason.
but I smell food.
In recent years, low-grade counterfeit
I'm gonna
versions of
Tifa, we should get
Auguste have
Smash
been
Burger. I
popping
want
up
Smash
on the
Burger.
Fontaine perfume market. Every so often, someone will claim to have recreated the unique scent of Auguste, and the rumor mill will start comparing the counterfeits to my own work.
Okay,
Oh.
that's more like the reason Paimon had in mind.
Ever since that rumor started, 3 new perfumes
You're still
claiming
bed
to be
rotting?
made
Oh
from
my
the
god,
Auguste
girl.
flower have
I
appeared on
totally
the
get it
market.
though. Recovering
If
from the
I
work
can
week
dispel
is
the fanaticism
the work
surrounding
week can be
Auguste,
really exhausting.
even just by proving the rumor to be false, Fontaine's perfume market can finally start to get back to normal. Then I'll be free from all the stories and added meaning and just focus on making what I like.
That makes sense.
Yeah, when you're kind of marathoning through the week, it used to happen to me when I actually first started my hybrid position. When I first started going hybrid, oh my god, I would spend Saturday mornings crashed until 11 o'clock. I don't know if some of y'all remember that, but I would be crashed in bed until like 11 or noon.
Oh, I would of course be grateful for your help, but I wouldn't want to trouble you.
Well, you said it yourself. We're both travelers from abroad, so it's only right that we help each other out.
Ha! I suppose you're right. Then you have my thanks.
Based on the information I have so far, it's unclear if the rumor is true. Mr. Edgar also thinks it's too early to say, but you could always go talk to him.
Oh my gosh, I
He was
smell
there
so
all
much
those years
food, but
ago,
none of
after
it's
all.
for me.
Maybe he'll know something.
Huh,
It's
I was
food
just about
that's
to
gonna
pay him
be-
a visit at the hotel.
My family is making like food, and that's gonna be like
Edgar?
takeout. Takeout for later.
The person you've been trying
It's
to
for a
guess this whole
potluck
time.
type of deal.
The flower expert in charge of the exhibition. He's also the most respected and experienced perfumer in the area. Back when he was still working in
Yeah,
Fontaine,
it's because I'm
was his creation.
unfortunately, because I am rating a lot, and I mean a lot. I do not have time. I barely have time in the weekends to want to do everything I want to stream. There's
I
too
should
much I
also
want to
mention, He
stream.
was my teacher.
But
the one who taught me
luckily,
the basics of
I am
perfumery when I apprenticed in SUMERU.
I am being really productive in the mornings. Really productive in the mornings with IRL things. So I have time to just stream.
So this guy was a famous perfumer in Fontaine, but then he came to SUMERU to
Teach people
from
from
Fontaine?
Fontaine.
It sounds confusing.
Oh wait, we're in SUMERU now.
I've been waiting for you.
Well, I'm mostly streaming because it's stuff I really want to check out.
If you're interested, we can talk more about it when we see him. He should be staying near the hotel.
Like today, I'm only streaming twice today because I really want to check out Genshin, but also I am raiding again tonight.
The Auguste flower.
I'm really hoping, you guys. I'm really hoping that we clear the raid tier tonight, because if we clear the raid tier tonight, I will be raiding a lot less per week. Once we clear the tier, I will be raiding a lot less. Hey, if I really wanted to, I could stream like 3 times today. But no, I won't. Streaming 3 times is actually dumb. You know what I could never do anymore? I think I tried one time when I was streaming Persona 3. I was streaming a 12-hour stream for Persona 3, and I had to tap out. I had to tap out because I couldn't do it. Oh, I thought I was gonna get crushed. Let me up. I'm surprised that doesn't kill you. That would have been so funny if I got squashed like a pancake. His name is Edgar. Edgar.
Oh,
No,
look
I
at
am
all
not
the
bad at time management.
flowers.
Apparently,
Managing
the
expectations is a
exhibitor
different
paid
thing,
a
though.
large sum to rent out the hotel and surrounding buildings. They're being used as temporary storage facilities and lodging for exhibition personnel.
Seems
Yeah,
a bit
what if guests
excessive.
come early? They won't have anywhere to stay. Also, renting out this big of a hotel, how are they gonna make that Mora back?
It seems like they have more of the burn.
It's been so long. I almost didn't recognize you, Edgar.
He's
You
old.
and
Look
your
at this guy.
brother
He's
haven't
crusty.
changed a bit.
Oh yeah, all this catching up is nice and all,
Okay, I
but
need
let's
to
get down
stop.
to business.
Not when my
We need to
birthday's
talk
coming
about
up.
Kyria. Is he?
Hold on, we have guests.
It's nice to see you again, Master.
Emilie, is that you? Oh, it's been years. Look at you. You're all grown up. I've heard
Prophet,
you've
what are your
become quite
thoughts
the
on
famous
Emilie's design?
perfumer in Fontaine. It
She
would
reminds me of a
seem
bird.
The student has surpassed the
Weirdly
master.
enough.
Oh, well.
Maybe it's
all
because of
thanks to your
the
mentorship.
scarf she wears on the back.
Hardly. I taught you the basics. Hearing you call me master, well, I'm not sure I'm deserving of that title. I've taught many students here in SUMERU over the years, but I've yet to see one turn out quite as accomplished as you. You're the only one who can take credit for that success. And who are these two? I don't recall you mentioning them in your letter.
It is I, the
Ah,
warrior
they're
of
my new
light.
friends, the Traveler
Wait a
and
minute.
Paimon.
Emilie's friend. Well then, the pleasure is all mine.
And these two gentlemen? Are they friends of yours, Master?
Of course. We're perfume merchants from Fontaine. I'm Oud, and this here is my younger brother, Blaze. Edgar and the two of us are old friends. Isn't that right, gentlemen?
Yes.
Merchant brothers?
You must be here to look for the Auguste flower then.
Huh?
Well, what respectable perfume merchant hasn't heard of Auguste? Anyone in the business would be interested in the rumor.
Yeah, her design.
I'm
She's.
guessing you're here
I feel
for
like
the
if you
same
run
reason,
around as
Emily.
Amelie, she
We
would
were
start
just
like
about to get into it, so you three might as
clink
well
clack
join
clickety
in.
clack clack clink clang.
I commissioned a few eremites to do some scouting for me. They searched all over SUMERU, but there were no sightings of the Auguste flower.
Then leave it to me.
That
We'll find
being
it in
said,
2 shakes of
there
a
are
lamb's
people
butt.
in Port Ormos who claim to have smelled a unique fragrance on
I
the
keep
streets.
smelling food.
Definitely
I'm gonna go
floral,
crazy
but
smelling
still
this food.
distinct. Some of them were merchants who lived in Fontaine 20 years ago. According to them, the fragrance
Y'all,
smelled
I'm
exactly
literally gonna
like
get
the
Smash Burger
Auguste they
after this
remember
stream.
from back then. A one-of-a-kind, divine, and noble scent.
Maybe someone around here just happens to have a bottle of Auguste from back then.
No, I don't think so. I doubt that's the case. Even if someone had a bottle that was never opened, the fragrance of the perfume would have changed over time. Very few perfumes can go decades without a change in scent. Auguste is even more prone to that kind of shift. Only a few bottles still exist in Fontaine, and
my.
their scent would have completely degraded by now. Although, could there be a flower out there with a similar fragrance? Or an accord with
Does
the same
anyone
base
have
fragrance?
decades old perfume?
Impossible. If a
I
goose
think
were
I
that
have
easy
like
to
a
replicate, it
20-year-old
would never have
perfume
sold for such a
somewhere,
high price all
or
those
my
years
mother
ago.
does. Not really me. I'm not much
The
of a
goose
perfume
flower's
person.
back. It has to be.
Technically speaking, the scent wouldn't be
I don't really
impossible
like
to imitate.
fragrances in skincare
Well,
either
let's
because
table that question for now.
the last time I
Edgar,
used the
did any of those people
heavily
mention
fragranced
where the scent
skincare,
was coming from?
and
No.
I got a headache.
By the time they realized they had smelled something, the scent was already gone. If I hadn't asked about it, they probably wouldn't have given the experience a second thought. Compared to things
Yeah,
we
it looks
see
like
and hear,
Natlan is gonna try to
smells
really
can be
push
much
fire
easier to
react. Well,
overlook.
Doug's gonna push fire reactions, but especially burning,
Almost sounds
because
like
burning has
someone
never
wearing
really
the
been
Auguste
considered that
fragrance
good.
passed them on the street.
I think out of all the fire reactions, I don't think there's been much of a care for burning teams.
Wait, are you saying
I think the issue is if you use
Just thinking
burning,
out
I think you can
loud.
burn yourself.
Don't pay me any mind.
Unironically, can't you
We
burn
don't have
yourself?
much to go off of right now, but we can't rule out that possibility. I'll send some more people to investigate. You all traveled so far to be here. Why don't you rest in the hotel for a bit? Oud, Blaze, this is the key
Yeah,
to
Toma,
your
I
room.
think is gonna be really, really good for Natlan since he uses a pyro
You've got the
shield.
keys to the rooms? Do we get free lodging too?
My apologies. All the rooms in the
I
hotel
love
are
scented
accounted for,
candles. I
I'm
love
afraid.
scented
Most
candles.
are being used for
I
storage
love
ahead of the exhibition. you
making
see.
other stuff smell good. I just don't really like putting
I
it on my
managed to tidy up one of
clothes
the
or
rooms
me.
for these two at the last minute, but by the time Emilie wrote to me, there was no more space left for her to stay.
Oh, and we just showed up out of the blue. Guess that means there's definitely no space for us.
I should have been more considerate. Here
Oh, I
am with an
forgot
entire
Shinyan literally
hotel
is
at my
another pyro
disposal and no
shielder.
place to offer you to
The
stay,
doy.
even after you made the trip all the way to
I still think
SUMERU.
Toma's better.
Don't worry, Master. I can sleep on the boat tonight.
Unironically.
Or I could even camp in the wild. It would give me the opportunity
gives
to
really
collect
good
some
party
plant
buffs.
specimens while I'm here in SUMERU.
And he has 2 pyro shields. Let me go with you.
Ah, even better. Although, would it be possible for me to leave some of my luggage here? It would be rather cumbersome to take it camping. It shouldn't take up too much space.
Well, about that.
Hina, why are you always benching the men? It seems like Edgar doesn't want anyone to stay near the hotel. Wait, is Edgar
Of
hiding something in
course,
the
no trouble at
hotel?
all. My brother and I will keep an eye on them for you, as long as you don't mind, mademoiselle.
All right then. Oud, why don't you take Emilie inside and find a suitable place for her luggage?
I don't like
I'll
this.
prepare some refreshments and join you.
He's
in the-
hiding something in there. Hina, you bench more than the 4 stars. You benched Child. You benched Diluc. You benched.
Always not a good time for guests.
Edgar literally is hiding stuff.
I'm sorry I couldn't offer you a room.
It's all right, Master. I know it was sudden.
I'll be sure to make it up to you with a nice cup of tea.
Child and Farina do same different things. Child is a hyper carry and Farina is a freaking party buff lady. Hello?
Whoa, the
Wow.
smell of flowers is so strong. Didn't Edgar say he tidied up around here? There's still so many flowers. Hyman took a
It's
peek through
what
the
a
window
flowery
earlier and his
place.
house was packed with flowers. Looks like this exhibition is gonna be huge.
Do all perfumers have houses filled with flowers?
No, that's a florist thing. We work closely with the essential oils of various plants. But to maintain a sharp sense of smell, most perfumers prefer to keep their homes free of strong odors.
Oh, y'all, I need to
Guess
BRB
there's
after
just
this
too much to
cutscene.
store for the exhibition then.
Tifa, you should have told me my order was here. Actually, I'm gonna BRB right now. Y'all, my Amazon order is literally here and it's hot outside. One moment. Alright, I'm back. Okay. We're here. This stream was brought to you by Derma B, SPF 50 PA 4+. It also, I don't think it has alcohol, so it's not really that drying if your skin is sensitive to alcohol. It might be a little bit greasy, but I don't really care. And then there's the Bioma Moisturizing Gel Cream, because I'm running out of moisturizer. Bioma's really growing on me as a skincare brand, y'all. I really have been enjoying their stuff, except for their sunscreen. Don't
this
get their
room seems to
sunscreen.
be a connected suite.
At least don't get the
and my
American
brother will
version.
be staying on the other side of the suite. Blaze, while you're out, why don't you bring our luggage over as well?
What? Why is he humming?
Blaze!
Yes, of course.
All right then. Where can we find your luggage, mademoiselle? Blaze will go fetch it for you.
It's still at the port. In addition to some daily necessities, there's also a case of amber wine that I brought back from Fontaine. Could I trouble you to bring that back as well? It would be the perfect way to repay you for your hospitality.
How generous. I should thank you on my brother's behalf. You stumbled upon his weakness. He's aloof about most things, but alcohol is his one true love.
Is that so?
It's Tifa's too. No, I'm joking.
Mr. Ood, Mr. Blaze, thanks for...
Hey! What are you doing?
What the? Huh?
That's Master's voice.
What the? Why is the trial music playing now? What's going on? That usually only plays if there's a murder. As you rush out of the hotel, you detect a unique fragrance coming from outside.
Edgar!
Master!
He got
Edgar!
assaulted.
Are you all right? Can you hear me?
Who did this?
Kyria. Auguste.
Kyria Auguste.
Kyria.
Hey, Edgar?
Oh my
Edgar!
god, he got murdered.
No, don't shake him. He's injured. Just
Oh.
leave him to
Oh wait,
me.
okay, he's not dead.
You
Okay.
two can...
I guess it's up to us. Yeah, I really like this music. It's very reminiscent of Phoenix Wright. Like, this is something you could totally hear in a Phoenix Wright game. We'll investigate the scene.
Oh, thank you.
Investigate the scene. What happened here?
That strange smell around here. Is it coming from this bottle?
Only a small amount of liquid is left inside the bottle, and streaks of residue can be seen both the mouth and the sides of the vessel. It seems someone forcibly poured out whatever was inside the bottle. Was that the perfume?
Really? You think so?
The perfume, not just a generic perfume. I'm talking about the one.
I hope we're not too late.
Why can we read Amelie's mind if she's from Fontaine? I thought the whole point of this was that we shouldn't be able to.
Skin is flushed, pupils are dilated, but he's still breathing.
Hey!
Sure enough, this is where Kyria was hiding.
Edgar, that idiot. How did he let Kyria get to him so easily?
He must have been
I
caught by
checked.
surprise.
It doesn't look like anyone passed through here.
Oh, but that's impossible. It's not like that kid can just grow some wings and fly away. Oh, the culprit, I mean. It's not like the culprit could have just disappeared into
That
thin air.
kid. What am I looking for? Hello? Wait, up and fly it away. Is he on the roof? Ain't no way. That is if I can ever get up there. Oh my gosh. Kaza. Oh wait, no, he's not on the roof. There's something back here.
Do you think whoever did this was hiding in the flowers before they attacked Edgar?
There are no footprints in the flower beds, and it doesn't look like any of the branches or leaves have been disturbed. That would be pretty difficult.
True.
So where could the culprit have gone?
Well, we looked all over, but the only clue we found was that bottle.
Why is the auto advance so slow there?
The most important thing we can do now is focus our efforts on treating Master. Can you help me move him inside?
Absolutely.
So, how's he doing?
When I administered emergency treatment, I discovered a residue in his nose and mouth. Master was most likely forced to ingest a certain liquid.
Yeah.
He's still unconscious, and inducing vomiting could obstruct his airways. We'll have to look into other clues for now.
We found this bottle.
Ah, yes. The scent is the same, but the chemical composition is still unclear. We'll have to do further tests to determine if it's the same liquid and how toxic it is to the human body. But first, I do believe there are two people who could shed some light on the situation.
Oh.
Mr. Sylvain, Mr. Lucien.
Sylvain, that's such a funny name.
Wait, you know...
Sylvain Fire Emblem?
Hey! Were you talking to us, mademoiselle? I'm afraid we'd never heard of those names before.
Before arriving in SUMERU, I asked a friend from the Special Patrol to look into the creators of Auguste. There were 4 people in total. The perfumer, Edgar, the one thrust into the limelight, and 3 others. A researcher from SUMERU responsible for cultivating the Auguste flower, and 2 merchant brothers responsible for promoting the product on the market. The 2 brothers capitalized on the mythos surrounding Auguste. Their actions lured in numerous speculators and profiteers, inflating the price of Auguste even further. In the end, they were sent to the Fortress of Meripede for falsifying their accounts and destabilizing the market. If you do the math, they should be out of prison by now.
And what does that have to do with us? There are countless merchant families in Fontaine. You gonna accuse them of being criminals too?
Every time your brother called you Blaze, it took you several seconds to respond. But when I called you Lucien just now, the name registered immediately.
Ah, Miss Emilie, out of respect for your position as a famous perfumer in Fontaine, I'm inclined to believe that was simply a poor attempt at humor. You have a bright future ahead of you. You wouldn't want to develop a reputation as someone who throws around false accusations, especially among merchant circles.
You claim to be regular perfume merchants, and yet, when I brought up amber wine, you took it to be alcohol.
What?
Amber wine is a perfume I created several years ago. It wasn't particularly renowned, but I'm certain any respectable perfume merchant in Fontaine would know of it.
So what you're trying to
Unless,
say is these are
recently,
fakers.
They were living somewhere completely cut off from the perfume world.
Jail?
Somewhere like the Fortress of Meripede,
They
perhaps?
used to be prisoners?
Emily, you little...
Criminals? Yeah.
Don't
Try going through
misunderstand,
us.
Mr. Sylvain. I don't bring this up to criticize you. No matter what happened all those years ago, the court has already passed its judgment. But Master's life is in danger. We need to learn whatever we can about the person who has done this. If Master's attack had something to do with Auguste, I would imagine the 2 of you might also be in danger. So I'd like to trouble you for some information, if I may. Tell me about Kyria.
Kyria.
Fine, as you wish.
Sylvain!
Lucien, if this will help us find Kyria, then it will be all worth it. Besides, we've already told most of the stuff to the Maison Orderly anyway. You were right, Miss Emilie. There were 4 of us at the beginning. Myself, Lucien, Edgar, and a researcher from SUMERU in charge of flower cultivation, Vijava. Sometime down the road, the Marechaussee Phantom came knocking, saddled us with a list of accusations, and started looking into our books. Oh, they did their meddling, and my brother Edgar and I were forced to serve time in the fortress as a result.
Sounds like he's still upset about that. Wait, then how did Edgar end up in SUMERU?
Master was convicted as an accomplice, so he only had to serve a few years. He decided to move to SUMERU so that he could put those events behind him. Still, Master was
Like a
depressed for a
refugee
long time
almost.
after that. He stopped making new perfumes and focused on introducing students to the craft instead. That's how I met him. My parents had to
Stretch
relocate to SUMERU for work when I was a child, so I had the chance to study under him for a little while. But we can talk about that some other time. I want to hear more about this researcher, Vijava.
Vijava.
Like us, Vijava was also staring down an investigation from the Marechaussee Phantom. But before the Phantom showed up at her door, she set all the flower beds on fire, along with much of the mora we managed to earn. All the Auguste flowers, everything we worked to create, was reduced to nothing but a pile of ash.
But destroying all that evidence, Wouldn't that make things worse for her?
It didn't matter at that point, because she died in the fire as well.
Yes,
Sounds like
yes,
you did an
yes.
investigation of your
I
own.
need to do the March
Why
event
even ask
too,
us if
but
you
oh
knew all
my
of this
gosh,
already?
Star Rail, I can never win. Have a nice lurk, Deepa. You should do it. You should do it. Yes, Wilson. Hello. I'm very eepy. It's because I've been up since really early this morning. It's now catching up to me.
The name wasn't mentioned in any of the files I reviewed either. But you two seem quite familiar with him.
I think it's just
Kyria
really
was
awkward
Vijava's
also
younger brother.
that there's no music in
He
the
was just a
background.
clueless kid back then.
Why is there no music?
Somewhere in his teens, I think. He helped his sister with her work sometimes, but that was pretty much it. He didn't have any idea what we were doing. Vijava kept him close most of the time. The three of us were probably the only ones who even knew she had a brother. After our operation was compromised, he disappeared. There were no signs of him until recently, when people started saying the Auguste flower had reappeared in SUMERU.
So, you think Kyria took something with him back then? Something that allowed him to reproduce the Auguste flower?
What?
Vijava doted on the kid like you wouldn't believe. She even told us to give her cut to her brother if anything happened to her. If she left something behind before she died, believe me, Kyria's the one that has it.
And judging by the liquid in that bottle, the Auguste flower wasn't the only thing he reproduced. He managed to replicate the perfume itself.
So the liquid Edgar was forced to ingest really was Auguste. Wait, does that mean Auguste is poison?
Poison perfume?
Poison? No. Of course not. No perfume is meant to be ingested. Even small amounts can be dangerous, let alone ingesting a whole bottle at once. If Auguste could be
I thought people
considered
did
a
that all the
poison,
time, though. That
we
spray you
wouldn't
put
have
in your
even
mouth.
sold half a bottle back then. Edgar fell unconscious because Kyria forced him to drink perfume. It just happened to be Auguste.
So why did Kyria attack Edgar?
He probably thought we had something to do with his sister's
Retail
death.
therapy? I would need
But
some
to
retail
tell you the
therapy. I
truth,
really
I
want
have
Smash
no
Burger. I'm
idea
thinking
why
about the
she
Smash
did all
Burger I'm gonna
that.
get after I finish
We're
this
not looking
quest.
for Kyria because we have it out for him. We just wanted to see how he was doing. And if possible,
Also, I really,
work
really hate
together
that
to
this
bring
quest has
back
no
a
music.
ghost.
Why
We
does this
only went
cutscene
to
have no
prison
music?
For a bit of fraud and market manipulation. It had nothing to do with the product itself. As long as we keep things honest this time around, bringing the product back to market would almost be like honoring his sister's memory.
So that's why you never mentioned Kyria during your interrogation?
Yes, exactly. We were just looking out for the kid.
Anyway, that's all we know. If you're looking for information on what's in Auguste, or what to do if you ingest it, there are only two people to ask.
Smash
Edgar
Burger.
or Kyria
Tifa,
himself.
if you need to hydrate, take
Well,
it easy.
at least we're able to say for certain that the substance Edgar ingested was in fact Auguste. That gives us a direction for further testing. Well then, I'd say that was a very enlightening discussion.
Well, glad to hear it. Lucian, let's head back to the room and rest a bit. With everything that's happened, there are things that need reconsidering.
Yes, of course.
They're still hiding something.
Huh, you think so too? That does seem to be the case. Pity we don't have more evidence. But based on Sylvain's tone of voice just now, I suspect further questioning will only result in more made-up answers.
Yep, they're
The way you
gaslighting
exposed them
us.
like that, just based on a hunch? That was genius!
Are you really just a performer that looks after people in your spare
Oh,
time?
right! Earlier you said you were only sort of a doctor, and that your patients were unusual.
Wait, did I read
Oh, yes.
performer?
That's because most of the
perfumer.
patients I
Oh my
encounter
gosh, I'm
already
losing my mind.
So you're a
I'm getting
forensic
eepy.
doctor?
Close. I'm actually a forensic cleaner. Once the forensic team and the Marechaussee Phantom are done collecting evidence from the scene, I'm in charge of clearing away the final traces my patients leave on the world. In fact, with just a small alteration to the formula,
That's such a grim job. Yes, I clean up after the dead body gets carried away.
Basically, there are two sides to forensics. Those who collect evidence to expose the truth, and those who clean up the smells, bloodstains, and other substances left behind at the scene. I've learned a lot in my line of work, and I've witnessed a lot of death. But this time, we may still save the patient.
Oh, she works
Actually, Traveler,
decomp.
could I trouble you to report back to Tighnari and the officers at Port Ormos? We should update them on the situation.
Wait a minute. Oh my god, wait, I'm doxing myself. No, don't look. Decomp. Forensics. Decomposition forensic evidence. Wait, we're looking this up. The presence of animals on a corpse can provide information for... Is the natural... Oh, wait. This is not... Girl, I don't know.
I'll stay here and continue to look after Master. Now
I
that we
don't
have a
know. I
sample
don't want
of
to
Auguste,
Google
I'm
anymore.
hoping further
My brain
analysis won't be
hurts.
too difficult.
Biohazard. That thing. Yeah. Alright, Emilie, I got you. Wait, let me read your
I
mind.
hope we're not too late.
I hope we're not too late
Master
either.
looks a lot older than when I last saw him.
There's only a small amount of perfume liquid left in the bottle. According to Sylvain, the liquid is... What? The liquid what? Is the none other than the famed Auguste perfume. What if it's a fake? What if it's a poison? Tenari, help. I think I only finished the first, so the story quests are usually split into 3 sections. Oh, decon! Oh my god! I was like, Tifa, decom is like decomposing. You mean decon? Anyway, y'all, I think we only finished the first of 3 parts for this quest. There's 3 parts, and we only finished the first one.
Why the rush?
Oh my god.
Did something happen?
So yes, Emilie
What?
is literally a decon.
Eddie was attacked.
Decon lady.
He's the most famous perfumer in the region. Someone who's helped countless people around Port Ormos. How could this happen?
Sheriff, have you received any reports of a suspicious individual fleeing through the bazaar?
No, but we've got eyes all over the area. I'm sure someone's seen Kiria. I'll start gathering my forces. We won't let him get away.
What about you, Tighnari? Do you have a plan?
I'm sure the sheriff can handle things over at the scene, and I doubt Emilie needs my help looking after Mr. Edgar.
But she said she's not a real doctor.
Then she was far too modest. She may not be a doctor by trade, but she has a deeper understanding of human anatomy and pharmacology than most scholars from the Amorta Darshan. Not to mention the fact that Mr. Edgar's condition is related to perfume. Emilie is certainly in the best position to help him. As for me, I'll head to the academia and see what I can learn about Vijava and Kiria.
Oh, that's right! Vijava was supposed to be a scholar from SUMERU. Do you recognize the name?
Yeah.
From Emilie's letter, certainly, but that was the first time I'd heard of it. The academia produces a lot of scholars, and
That's
there
like
are
trying
plenty
to
of
ask Tifa,
graduates who
hey
choose
Tifa, do you know
pursue a
this
career
random
outside their
undergrad
darshan.
from
I
a
didn't have time to look
40,000
into it
person
earlier,
university?
But now it seems like Vijava's past could be critical to getting to the bottom of what happened to Mr. Edgar. I have friends in SUMERU City that can help me investigate. With any luck, we'll have news to share by tomorrow. I'll leave you and Emilie to watch over things here in Port Ormos.
Yay, one part down, two more to go. Oh lord. Okay. Tifa, have you ever been to Smash Burger though? I really love I really like Smash Burger.
Well, it's been a day. Wonder if Tainari's discovered anything. But things weren't looking good with Emily's master yesterday.
Let's go to the hotel first. Ah! That scares me every single time.
Committed to memory.
Committed to memory. Oh, I was just gonna get the veggie burger from Smash Burger. Hello.
Emily!
How's Edgar?
No longer in critical condition, thankfully. He's still very weak, but with a bit more rest, he should regain consciousness soon. My chemical analysis of Auguste also went smoothly, although it certainly raised some questions.
Questions?
I was able to identify the components that give the substance its fragrance, but I also noticed an abnormal trace of elemental energy in the sample.
What?
Elemental energy?
That means either the person who made that has a vision, or they use like elemental being ingredients.
Hard to say. It was such a minute amount, proportionally speaking, like mixing a single drop of perfume into the ocean. I had to use one of the newest tests developed in recent years to even detect the traces present in the sample. Unless you were abnormally sensitive to elemental energy, I doubt it would have any effect, even if you use the product every day for 10 years. As for whether Master's condition was caused by the elemental energy present in the sample or some other component of the perfume, it's still too early to say.
Oh, that reminds Paimon. Did Tainari come and find you? Maybe...
I received a message from him last night, but I haven't heard anything since. The message said he was looking into some information at the academia.
Oh, Paimon thought he might have stopped by to see you first.
Oh.
Excuse me? Is Miss Emily here?
It's Calais.
Oh, perfect.
Little Calais.
Familiar faces.
So you
Traveler,
could voice
Paimon,
this
you're
story
here
quest,
too.
but you couldn't voice that weird unvoiced quest. Dang.
Kale. Ah, of course. Tainari's apprentice. He's mentioned you many times. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. And please, no need for formalities. Emily is just fine.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you too,
Miss.
Emily. Did Tainari send you here, Kale?
Yep. Master and the others went through decades worth of records last night, and still haven't had a chance to rest. I'm fast on my feet, so it only made sense for me to come and give you an update. Anyway, based on what they've reviewed so far, they believe there's no indication that a researcher by the name of Vijava ever passed through the academia.
That definitely is an
Master
alias.
considered that possibility as well, but the name wasn't the only dead end. Master tried to track down people with a similar research direction or background, but also couldn't find a match.
How is that possible?
Maybe her identity as a researcher from SUMERU was a
It's
from all
starting to
along.
seem very likely. If we want to figure out her true identity, I'm afraid another conversation with those two merchants might be our only...
Hey,
He's a... what?
Lucian!
Lucian.
Sylvain! Wait, you don't think Curio came back, do you?
That seems impossible. If someone came in or out of the hotel just now, we would have seen them.
What if he hid in the hotel this entire time? Hello? Well, wait, I entered the wrong... Oh, this is Edgar's room. Just kidding. I'm so dumb. It's over here. I keep confusing it. This is the hotel, you dummy.
It's locked?
Break it open. Bang! Yeah. That's how we solve things around here.
Lucian! Lucian! Come on!
He got
Wake
knocked
up!
out.
Emilie! Emilie! My brother.
Oh my
He's gonna be
god.
okay, right? He's just unconscious. Like what happened to Edgar.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sylvain, but we were too late
He's
this time.
dead.
No, no, that's not possible.
He's dead.
Traveler, Kale, Mr. Sylvain has gone through a huge shock. He needs some space to calm down. Could one of you take him next door? It's not good for him to look at his brother's body like this.
Of course. Leave it to me.
I'll notify
Thank
the
you
sheriff.
both.
Yo, I don't know what it
Mr.
is about
Sylvain?
this area.
Let's get you
Maybe
up.
it's the fact that
Here,
there's no music
take
happening in the
my hand.
background and it's just people talking, but it just makes me really sleepy every time there's a cutscene in this
We'll take
area.
things from here. Just focus on getting some rest. Here, this way.
Yeah, yeah, you really need a moment.
Poor guy. He's like a shell of his former self. He may have made some bad decisions in life, but right now, Paimon can't help but feel sorry for him.
Good person or bad, the death of a loved one is equally painful.
I guess you're used to that, huh?
All
With
the
your
moments
job.
he shared with his brother, every hardship and triumph they endured together, are now memories he has to carry alone.
If Kyria really was behind this, then what exactly did he do to Lucian?
Lucian can no longer speak, but the traces left behind by his death
Oh,
most
we're gonna do
certainly
an
can.
autopsy.
Traveler, I've got things covered here at the scene. I'll leave you to contact the sheriff.
Some time passed and Sheriff Shyam rushes to the scene.
Who would have thought? Yesterday's case is still up in the air, and now this happens. Miss Emilie, I heard you're an experienced forensic doctor. Have you been able to discover anything?
Oh, I'm not actually a forensic doctor. I just happen to have some relevant knowledge. I did take a look, though. Judging by the temperature and rigidity of the body, it appears the time of death was sometime last night. I'd have to do a more thorough investigation to find out more.
Rigidity. Oh.
Then, would you mind helping us investigate? Before he left, Tainari said we could trust your judgment if something like this were to happen.
Of course, I appreciate your trust. Many of the traces left behind at the scene will fade with time, so the sooner we investigate, the better.
We'll help too. We don't know much about dead bodies, but you can leave the
I
other
don't have
clues
the
to
heart
us.
to investigate a dead body. Not in Danganronpa, not in here, not in Phoenix Wright. Oh, the music's playing. Alright, what do we have here? The bag is stuffed with clothes and other daily necessities. It's quite heavy. There's flowers. The corners are filled with flowers from different nations. The fragrance is incredibly strong. Yeah, I see flowers from Mondstadt here. I see Fontaine flowers. I see Inazuma flowers. And incense. The incense is slowly rising into the air. It seems familiar somehow. The space inside the cabin is divided into various compartments. It doesn't look like a person could even hide in here. So that takes out my theory that somebody hid.
It's just one problem after another.
Did he pass away while he was unconscious?
They got him while he was asleep?
Pupils
But
are
he's on the
dilated,
ground.
Skin is flushed. No overt external injuries or signs of a struggle.
Where's the last... Oh, the door? The door leads to the hallway. The lock broke when we forced our way in. Wait a minute! The door was locked. But... If the door was locked, how did the brother get in the room?
And the windows are shut tight too. Seems like the only way to get in would have been through Sylvain's room.
Oh, they have connected rooms. Yeah, because there's a door over
looks
here.
Like we've investigated as much as we can. Let's go report back to Emilie and Shiam.
So yeah, this door was very, very much locked. The only way they could have gotten in was from this door.
So, did you find anything?
There were no signs of forced entry.
Paimon can show you. Here, it'd be something like this.
A drawing? Yeah, blocks doors.
Entering through the room next door without alerting Sylvain. Wait, you don't think Sylvain could have been the one who...
No, his reaction to the loss of his brother seemed genuine, and he doesn't have a motive.
Then, what could have happened last night? I know Sylvain is still in shock, but he's our only available witness. We have to take his statement.
I agree. Also, I've made some new discoveries, so we might as well head next door and go through everything together.
We have to investigate the other room. He's dead! I can't believe we got thrown into a murder mystery. Another
Mr.
one.
Sylvain, I need you to tell me everything you and your brother did since yesterday afternoon. Did you see or hear anything strange?
After Kyria attacked Edgar, my brother and I were incredibly careful. We returned to our rooms and decided to lock all the doors leading to the hallway. The only door we kept unlocked was the one connecting our rooms. That way, if we heard any commotion coming from the other room, we could help each other. But I didn't hear any sort of commotion last night. Not a single noise. I woke up this morning, opened the door, and Lucien was...
So, no movement from the room next door. No forced entry via Sylvain's room. No signs of a struggle at the scene. And no external injury on Lucien's body. What kind of cause of death are we dealing with here?
I did notice a few things about the body. Lucien's pupils were dilated and his skin was flushed, very similar to Master's symptoms after the attack yesterday. There weren't any traces of liquid in his mouth or nose, so it's unlikely he was forced to ingest anything. The more plausible explanation is that he inhaled a substance without knowing it, and I'd say that substance was likely Auguste.
Auguste? No, that's not possible. Inhaling Auguste won't kill you. And anyway, it would have been for just one night. No, that's not what I meant. Emilie, you ran your tests, didn't you? Go on, tell everyone whether you found any poison.
No, I didn't find any common toxins.
See? Auguste is harmless. The market response proved that years ago.
And what killed him?
That may be true for most people, but not for everyone.
Master!
Edgar? You're up and about already?
Thanks to Emilie, I'm out of the woods for now. Sylvain, no matter how hard you may try to hide it, the truth will always come to light.
Edgar!
Even if we could keep it a secret for another 10 or 20 years, do you think Kyria would just let us be? No, he would never give up. Not if he's doing all of this for Yelena.
Who? No?
That's Vijava's real name. Yelena wasn't a scholar from Sumeru. She was an exiled Fatus from Snezhnaya.
A
The
Fatui?
Fatus? The Fatui. Well, that means the elemental energy present in Auguste was...
So you've already detected it.
What?
Well, Sylvain, looks like there's truly no reason to hide things now.
Oh,
The Auguste flower was created with the mutative and distorting power of a delusion.
A delusion?
The Fatui.
Fatui.
Delusions. I never would have thought Auguste was hiding this many secrets.
Born of a delusion, Auguste contained distorted elemental energy. A prolonged exposure over many years could have a harmful effect on the body.
that's enough, Edgar. I'll take it from here. At first, Yelena wanted to keep refining the perfume and the flower. But no one knew how long the perfume mania was going to last.
What did she
back then.
do?
It didn't have any effect on ordinary people anyway. Every day we postponed going to market was another day of lost earning potential.
So you decided poisoning people was worth the risk?
Listen, it's not like it was good for business. But all that talk about Auguste being harmful over time, Yelena was just speculating. The impact was practically negligible. Unless you were particularly sensitive to elemental energy or had an entire bottle shoved down your throat like Edgar. You could use
It's
the
not
product for
the
decades
poison,
and be
it's the
completely
dose.
Fine.
It may be true there are no records of Auguste poisoning in Fontaine, but even if no one was acutely poisoned, willfully bringing a product to market despite explicit knowledge of its
Oh my
harmful effects is
God.
still a serious crime. That explains why you were so intent on keeping Yelena and Kyria's involvement a secret all this time, despite readily confessing to all your financial crimes. The Fatui, delusions, Auguste. If the Marechaussee Phantom discovered the connection between the three, there would have been enough evidence to send you to the Fortress of Meripede for life.
Ha! If I'd known coming to SUMERU would put a target on my back, I would have been more than happy to stay there. At least that way, Lucien would still be alive. All these years without any sign of Kyria, and he pops up out of nowhere the minute my brother and I get out of prison? It couldn't be any clearer who the kid's after. Auguste was harmless before. The fact that it's killing people all of a sudden must be his doing as well.
So there's bad blood between you.
What about Yelena's death? Was that a cover-up too? A way to destroy evidence?
I'll admit, we thought about it at one point. We took care to disguise the product circulating on the market, and no one was questioning Yelena's fake identity. But if the Marechaussee Phantom decided to look into the flower beds, it would have been the end. Yelena's ties to the Fatui, the role of the delusion, everything would have been exposed. Before we could even put our plan in motion, Yelena beat us to it. She burned all her flower beds and threw herself into the fire as well.
But if her goal was to destroy evidence, there would have been no reason to do that to herself.
Yeah, she could have just burned the flower beds and fled with her brother.
I thought about it for a long time, but it wasn't until just now that I finally understood her reasoning. Everything she did, it was for her brother, Kyria. One of the reasons they defected from the Fatui was the deterioration of Yelena's body due to her excessive use
of a delusion.
of a delusion. She didn't want her brother to follow in her footsteps after her death. After arriving in Fontaine, Yelena continued using the delusion to cultivate the Auguste flower, weakening her body even further. There were times when she couldn't even walk.
So she couldn't flee with her brother because she was afraid of holding him back.
If her true identity was exposed, she and her brother would face pressure from both Snezhnaya and Fontaine.
Yeah.
The Auguste flower and Yelena's own corroded body both bore the mark of a delusion. There would have been no way to avoid suspicion. So, in the end, she burnt it all to ash,
Herself?
including herself. With all the evidence erased,
Oh my
Kyria
god.
was free to take the Mora and run.
So the wealth you earned from Auguste, it wasn't destroyed in the fire. Yelena gave it to her brother?
Most likely. Before Yelena died, she said if anything happened to her, she was going to leave everything to her brother. We just didn't realize she meant our cut as well. That's why Lucian and I were searching for Kyria, to take back our Mora and the Auguste flower. We just didn't realize Kyria was baiting us the whole time. It was all a
But
trap.
now, where is Kyria? Is my question. It's been my question since the beginning.
Why is Kyria out for revenge anyway? Doesn't he know about Yelena's decision to sacrifice herself?
I don't think he knew his sister was nearing death. Yelena always wore heavy makeup around him to conceal her deteriorating appearance. She kept herself
my
busy
god.
with work to keep out of sight. That way her brother wouldn't notice how she could barely walk.
Then all we'll need to do is tell Kyria what really happened, and then he'll give up on his revenge.
I'm not so sure. Even if he knew the truth, he'd still find someone to blame. He might think Yelena was forced into using a delusion to cultivate Auguste, or something like that. It's hard to pull yourself out of that kind of hatred, especially when you've been living in that headspace for so many years.
Very true. Even if Yelena's death was her own choice, I wouldn't call myself innocent either.
Edgar, what are you talking about?
Think about it, Sylvain. If we hadn't been in such a hurry to capitalize on the perfume mania all those years ago, do you think Yelena would have elected to take those risks? If we hadn't been so blinded by greed, so insistent on increasing the scale of the flower cultivation, do you think Yelena's health would have deteriorated as fast as it did? If we hadn't invited the Marechaussee Phantom to our doorstep by breaking the law at every turn, Yelena could have survived.
She knew her limits. She knew her days were numbered. Maybe it was for her brother, but she was in it for the Mora just as much as us. We were just trying to earn a bit of Mora. And what, we deserve to die for that? Target me for being the mastermind, sure. But what about Lucian? He was just following my orders. Lucian's crime, was it really so extreme that he had to pay for it with his life?
The only person that can answer that question is a judge.
Fine. I've said my piece anyway. Drag me back to Fontaine to stand trial. I don't care.
3 people from Fontaine, 1 from Snezhnaya. Crime committed in Port Ormos.
International
What a headache.
incident.
Well, we can only wait until the Academia sends someone to deal with it. I'm guessing we'll have to contact Fontaine as well. In any case, we won't really know anything until tomorrow. With the exhibition, we don't even have space in Port Ormos to detain anyone. Such a headache.
The hotel could suffice. You could station a few officers to keep an eye on
Assuming that they
Sylvain and
don't wake up
myself.
dead tomorrow.
Although with Sylvain's mental state and my physical one, I don't think you need to worry about a jailbreak.
Mr. Edgar, are you saying...
If Sylvain is to stand trial, then I deserve the
Oh
same
my
fate.
god.
A crime is a crime, accomplice or
Old
not.
man.
I'd just like to take care of a
Old
few
man
things
has his
before I go.
regrets.
Say goodbye to my plants.
That's very,
and
very
all that.
Genshin of them to be
As
like.
for
Actually, no,
Sylvain,
that's not really Genshin of
I'm
them.
sure he also
It's actually
has
really
some
weird that he
goodbyes of
actually
his
is
own.
putting himself in with this.
Would you be willing to grant that request, Sheriff?
Well, all right. I'll talk to the Academia. No matter who you were in Fontaine or what crimes you committed, the man we grew to know in SUMERU proved himself to be a good person. Your request is granted.
You have my thanks, Sheriff.
Doesn't that mean something could still happen tonight?
Tonight? Oh, you mean the possibility that Kiria might try to finish what he started?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all we know is that he uses Auguste to poison people, but we still have no idea how to catch him in the act. If he targets Sylvain or Edgar again, we might not be able to stop him.
That may be true, but what if we can take advantage of his desperation? If we take advantage of this situation and lure him in on purpose, we might finally have the chance to talk to him.
Master, no. That's too dangerous.
Ha! So, that's your plan. If Kiria learns we're being taken away tomorrow, his last chance to enact his revenge would be tonight. In other words, you want to use us as bait to capture him.
Bait?
Capture? Not necessarily. I just want to talk. What? Are you afraid of him?
Afraid? This is my only chance to make him pay for what he did. I'm spending the rest of my life in prison anyway. I can't just sit back and let him ride off into the sunset with our fortune. There's no way I'm letting him get away with it. Not after what he did to Lucien. As for the danger, everyone else just needs to make preparations in advance to protect us.
I'll admit, it could work. We just need to spread the word that Edgar and Sylvain are leaving tomorrow. Then I'll station some of my men around the hotel. If we have your assistance as well, our chance of success would be even higher.
I still have some reservations. But if you insist on carrying out this plan, I won't
Is this
deny your
really
help.
gonna work out, or are we gonna get more dead people?
I'll also keep watch.
Although I think Sylvain and myself should remain alone in our respective rooms. If Kiria noticed another person in the room, he might decide to turn back. And besides, it's possible he's already transformed Auguste into a potent toxic gas.
Wait, there's something like that in Final
You
Fantasy
mean if he
XIV,
doesn't
Black
see a way to get his
Rose.
hands on the two of you, he might get so desperate that he'll just start using Auguste on everybody?
If that were to happen, everyone standing guard, even the innocent citizens in Port Ormos would all be in danger.
That's why everyone else needs to keep to the shadows.
You're still recovering. You need to rest.
This old pack of bones doesn't bounce back like it used to.
Imagine
I
being.
suppose.
This is
I'll
how I
just
feel when I
have to
wake up
leave the
every
rest
day.
To you.
All right, we can figure out a plan to keep watch later. Right now, I say we split up, start spreading that information before it's too late.
With everyone's help, the news about it goes. Surely this plan will work out with no problems whatsoever.
Have you heard? Mr. Edgar's been detained. He's being taken away tomorrow.
What? He's the one who helped craft all the fragrances for our shop.
He taught my child how to make perfume. How could this happen?
He hasn't been convicted yet. Let's just wait and see what the court has to say.
Oh, everyone on the street is talking about the rumors. No matter where Kiri is hiding, he must have heard them by now.
I'm really
Let's
glad, by
head
the
back
way,
to the
that we
hotel and
skipped
take a
over this
break.
section.
We can see how the other
They could have
preparations are
easily
going while
made
we're
this a
at it.
really silly filler section of the quest where they could be like, spread the word that, that freaking Edgar's in jail. But no, they did not, and I'm really glad they did not. Things are getting serious, y'all.
Emilie, Sheriff Xian wants to talk to you and the Traveler about our plans for the Night Watch.
Thank you, Kale. But first, here, I prepared a kind of herbal tea that helps calm the spirit. Why
I
don't you
need
have
that
some?
tea.
Oh, that's very kind of you, but I'm okay.
Oh, it's not good to be so tense, especially when we've got a long night ahead of us. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I couldn't help but notice that something seems to be on your mind.
Was it that obvious?
You seem very preoccupied with Kiria's revenge. If there's anything you want to talk about, I'm happy to listen.
Oh,
Hey, Emily, Kale. Oh, are we interrupting something?
No, not at all. This will be easier to talk through with you here anyway. I've just been thinking. If Kiria has the capacity to commit murder while remaining completely undetected, why didn't he target Sylvain along with Lucien last night? There was just a single door separating them.
I wonder.
If his intention was to target both brothers, then there was barely anything standing in his way. Don't you think? When I accompanied Sylvain to his room after Lucien died, and saw how distraught he was, I suddenly realized. Maybe Kiria did that on purpose. Maybe he wanted Sylvain to experience the pain of losing a loved one before he completed his ultimate revenge.
So did he attack Edgar as a warning then? To scare Sylvain and Lucien?
Oh my god.
Based on what we've heard about Kiria, that may very well be the case.
Losing his sister all those years ago. What has been going through his head? What has he been forced to endure? Whenever I get to thinking like that, I just can't help but wonder. If I were in his place, would I be able to let go of that hatred? I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't think like that.
That
Not
kind
after
of
everything
really.
he's done.
Not after
But
everything you've done, Kale.
just
Oh
can't
my
help it.
god, that her
There's
saying
nothing
that,
wrong with the way you're
especially if you
feeling.
know what
Empathy
Kale
is
has
a part
been
of human
through,
nature. In all
what
my
Kale's
years
been
of
through
cleaning up
before
crime scenes,
Genshin.
I've witnessed countless families mourn their loved ones. Their cries of devastation and anger still echo through my mind, even now. Some of them even try to stop me, begging me not to erase the last remnants of their loved ones. But getting swept up in those emotions will corrupt your judgment. Surround yourself with fragrance for too long, and your sense of smell will become dull. Allow yourself to be consumed by your emotions, and you lose the ability to think rationally. So while you hold on to that sense of empathy, you also need to ask yourself, do Sylvain and Lucien really deserve to die? How much did they truly know about the Fatui and the delusion? Did they force Yelena to make those decisions? Answering those questions requires a lot of time and evidence, while a single act of vengeance can put those answers forever out of our reach. I've witnessed a lot of deaths in Fontaine. When someone dies, a certain amount of information can be inferred from the traces left behind at the scene. But generally speaking, death will just leave most questions unanswered, and the whole picture ever incomplete.
Once you're consumed by hatred, it will become next to impossible to think about things that way. For someone like Kiria, I'm sure right and wrong lost all meaning a long time ago.
You're right. The fact that we can approach these questions from this perspective isn't because we're more rational than them. It's because we're fortunate enough not to have suffered that kind of loss. But that also makes us perfectly positioned to stand on the outside and try to pull them back from the brink before it's too late. I understand Kiria's decision, but I still want to stop him. Master, Sylvain, and Kiria. They all deserve to survive.
Huh.
Yeah.
The fortunate and the unfortunate.
He's watching.
Emilie, traveler. Huh?
He sounds
Edgar,
southern.
You're here too?
Oh, it's you two. Didn't you head back to your room to rest, Edgar? Is it really okay for you to be out and about like this?
A little exercise never hurt anyone. Besides, I don't have much time left in SUMERU. So I'd like to take care of my plants while I still can.
We could do that for you, Master.
No need. I've grown attached to these flowers, and this is my last chance to say goodbye. Come tomorrow. I'll be happy to entrust their care to you. I would imagine Sheriff Sham is here for a more important reason.
The Night Watch! You mentioned earlier that we still need to confirm our plans.
That's right. I've stationed some of my men around the surrounding area, but we still don't have anyone standing guard next to Sylvain's room.
Lucian's room.
Exactly.
Who
After some
wants to be in
discussion,
there?
we concluded that Sylvain has the highest risk of being attacked next. You're the most skilled fighter here, traveler. And Emilie's expertise is sure to come in handy in a pinch. That's why I want you two stationed next to Sylvain's room. So, are you up for it?
What about you?
Sounds perfectly reasonable. I'll be glad to have your help tonight, Traveler.
No, why do we gotta be the most risky one?
I wonder how it really felt for Kiria. Finally getting his revenge.
It's just one problem after another. My men and I will be stationed nearby to monitor the situation.
I'll head into the mountains to keep an eye on everyone coming in and out of the area. Just leave the wilderness surveillance to the forest rangers.
You mean up there? My camera's so silly. You waited in Lucian's room for quite a long time.
Huh. Not a peep. Has Kiria given up on his revenge?
Well, maybe you're just being a blabbermouth, Paimon.
Guess we'll have to keep at it.
The night. Blah blah blah.
Still nothing unusual. Paimon took a peek into the room next door and Sylvain's already sleeping.
Shyam hasn't ordered a warning
Perhaps
either.
Kiria's true motive was simply forcing Sylvain to confess his crimes. No, that can't be right. If all he wanted was for Sylvain to be convicted for his true crimes, he could have tipped off the Marechaussee Phantom years ago. There must be something we're missing. Something extremely important.
Maybe we just need to calm down a little. How about some tea? That herbal blend for... You're right.
Don't, no tea, no tea.
Maybe we can look for a different distraction than, like looking at the flowers. Oh, there's a glaze lily here. Paimon didn't notice it earlier.
It's from Liyue.
Flowers, glaze lilies, incense. Oh no! Sylvain's room! Quick!
Huh?
Wait, what?
Sylvain's dead?
Hey, did you hear? Someone was attacked again last night.
It was the older
What?
of the merchant brothers, right?
Yeah, I think his name was Sylvain. Poor guy was murdered in cold blood.
First it was Mr. Edgar, then that merchant named Lucian, and now this.
Listen up, everyone. This is an active
Oh
crime
my
scene.
gosh,
Please,
what is
loitering.
happening here?
It's been 3
What
days
could he-
and they haven't even caught a glimpse of the guy.
How
What is
could he
going
have
on?
done it? Could
Do
he
you
have?
think it could be the work of an evil spirit? I mean, how do you get away with something like that with so many people watching?
Keep it moving, everyone. No loitering.
Oh my gosh.
I suppose I'm next.
How is he killing
You don't
them?
know that. Kyria already attacked you once, and you survived. Perhaps he doesn't consider your crime to be worthy of death.
You were the only reason I managed to survive, Emilie. I never did thank you for that, did I?
Even if I wasn't there, Tainari was also in the vicinity. He would have been able to help.
Is that so? I suppose I'm a very fortunate person then. I have exceptional students, caring friends, and the respect of my peers. If it is indeed my time to go, then I'll die without regrets. But Kyria has nothing. Yelena is gone. Now
All your friends are dead.
his enemies
Smile.
are too.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder if there's even a reason to keep on living.
If you really want an answer, I suppose you'll have to ask Kyria himself once we finally catch him.
Well, I hope it all goes well. Emilie, there's something else I'd like to ask of you. With everything that's happened, holding the exhibition is off the table now. But so many flowers were transported here for the show, some of them thousands of miles away from their homeland. I can't let them wither away with no one to care for them. Whether Kyria gets to me first, or I'm sent back to Fontaine to stand trial, I won't be around to look after them. I know it's a lot to ask, but could I entrust them to your care?
Of course, Master.
Really? Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Now I truly have nothing to worry about.
Sheriff Sham still has some questions for me, so I've gotta go.
Go ahead. Best not to keep him waiting.
Yeah.
He can be quite impatient.
I'm sorry, Master.
He's gonna freaking die. I can sense it. What? Meanwhile, in Sylvain's room, what was that?
Wow, another all-nighter. Paimon sure hopes Emily's plan will go well. Oh,
Calais?
Emily still isn't back. I hope she didn't run into any trouble. Yeah, that's true.
The music mixing in this quest
Traveler,
is so weird.
I had my men start spreading the information you requested. The crowd is gone now too, but I have to admit, I'm not really sure what's going on. After listening to Emily's plan, I started
I
getting
still
the
don't really
materials
get
together and arranging
what
personnel.
Emily meant by
I barely had a
blooms
second
in
to
the
spare
night
last
only.
night. To be honest, I'm still not sure how the crime was committed that night.
the key clue was right in front of us the entire time. Let's go. We'll show you where the culprit hid a goose.
It seems like they prepare the murder weapon ahead of time, before anybody even enters the room.
I only have a basic idea of what happened, to be honest. I haven't really
At
worked
least
out the
that's what I
details.
got.
So, you're saying I'm the only one who's completely in the dark.
I'm sort of in the dark. I can't use Nahida's power. The incense slowly rising to the air. It's Spirit Borneo.
Wasn't this incense originally in Lucian's room? It must have been moved here before nightfall yesterday.
So, why move it?
This is it!
The Glaze Lily?
The Glaze Lily, huh? I think I've heard of it before. It's a flower from Liyue, right?
Well, did you know it only blooms at night?
Emilie, you're back!
Exactly as expected.
A flower that only blooms at night. Ah, like the Neelitpala lotus.
Exactly. Although the Neelitpala lotus wouldn't be a good substitute in this scenario.
You need
When
something
it's
that'll
closed,
be closed.
the gaps between the petals are too
Surely
large.
closed.
That's why Kyria chose the glaze lily as his mechanism. He would start by preparing an Auguste sample.
Soak the area around the petals.
There's a sticky substance on the edge of the flower petals. It's one I recognize.
Sealed it inside
If
the
you
petals.
stick the petals together with slime condensate, then, in the daytime, the glaze lily would act almost like a hidden container.
That's right! He applied a diluted form of slime condensate to the petals to stick them together and enclosed a sample of Auguste in the center. That way, the Auguste would remain trapped inside during the daytime, unable to seep between the petals and evaporate into the air. This
Oh
also
my
allowed the culprit to
God.
plant the poison well in advance, while his targets remained oblivious.
That makes sense then,
However,
because I
the
did say
diluted slime
earlier,
condensate
the,
wouldn't be
the
viscous
culprit
enough
would have had
to
to been
prevent
able
the
to
petals of the
prepare
glaze lily from
the
opening
murder
at night.
weapon
So
without
by
them necessarily
nightfall,
even having
the
to be
flower
here.
would bloom, thereby forcing the
But the
target to
question
inhale
is,
the
how is
Auguste
the
trapped
culprit
inside.
able to get in here during the
Kyria can
daytime?
execute his revenge without having to step foot inside the room during the night.
He still has to step foot
By
in
the
here
next
during
morning,
the day.
the sample of Auguste would have nearly fully evaporated. The
I don't
glaze lily
think
would have already
Kyria-
closed its petals, and any lingering odor
I
would
don't
be
think
concealed
Kyria
by
is
the
who we
fragrance
think
of the
they
other
are.
flowers in the room.
His mission would be accomplished, but I don't think Kitty is who we think he is at all.
Wait a second.
Well, we
You're telling
initially
me
thought
this
he
version
was.
of Auguste is so toxic, inhaling the minute amount trapped inside a flower is enough to kill a grown man? And how did Edgar even survive ingesting a whole bottle of the stuff?
That's because Auguste is just as dangerous now as it was all those years ago. The level of toxicity has never changed. Only a small subset of people are truly at risk.
Ah, you mean people who are sensitive to elemental energy. So it's just some sort of happy
Is it really
coincidence
a
that Sylvain and
coincidence?
Lucien are allergic to the stuff? That can't be right. They were involved in the operation all those years ago. If the stuff gave them a bad reaction, they would have known from the very start.
I wouldn't use the word allergic necessarily. It's more like they're susceptible to its effects. But that distinction isn't important right now. You can think of it this way. It's not that Sylvain and Lucien are innately sensitive to elemental energy, but that Kyria found a way to ensure that they would be.
Primordial Sea?
In Fontaine, I experienced how drinking primordial seawater made me more attuned to the element of hydro.
What?
But that substance would be hard to get around here.
Incense?
The incense I smelled earlier seemed familiar.
Oh,
back on
Spirit
it,
Borneo.
I'm almost certain it was the scent of Spirit Borneo. In SUMERU, scholars use Spirit Borneo to aid meditation and stimulate their connection to the Dendro Archon.
Dendro.
Alchemically produced essential oils, the primordial seawater that caused unrest in Fontaine not too long ago. All of those are substances that can heighten your sensitivity to elemental energy.
But Kyria chose Spirit Borneo.
That stuff gave us a lot of trouble when we first
I'll
came
never
to
get tired of this
SUMERU.
photo.
Ah, yes. I definitely remember that.
In Sumeru, it's not uncommon to use incense indoors, so its presence wouldn't arouse suspicion. The flowers in the room could also serve to mask the scent.
Flowers are pretty important to this plan, huh? The glazed lily is native to Liyue. It would be completely unnatural to have one here in Sumeru if it weren't for the exhibition. What a coincidence.
Actually, it's not a coincidence at all.
It was all a meticulously designed trap.
No wonder he was willing to pay a small fortune to rent out the hotel.
He probably used the Mora Yelena left him, don't you think? That money was supposed to set him free, but in the end, it was just a tool for his revenge.
There's a saying among forensic doctors in Fontaine. Every step you take leaves a mark. But up until this point, we haven't been able to detect any trace of Kiria's activities. That's not because he was coming and going undetected, or because he's some kind of evil spirit, but because he's been disguised as someone else this entire time.
Edgar. It must have happened when Edgar got knocked out.
Creating such an intricate mechanism out of a glaze lily. Setting up the spirit borneal in advance. And arranging for Sylvain and Lucien to stay at the hotel. It all points to one person. The expert in charge of the entire exhibition.
The real murderer.
Kiria and Edgar are one and the same.
But Kiria was only in his teens back then. He wouldn't even be 40 years old by now. Edgar's lived here for so many years. Even if he changed his appearance, going that long without giving anything away, it would be impossible.
Bad news, Sheriff. Mr. Edgar was attacked.
What?
A dark shadow-like figure just ran out of his room. It was giving off a really ominous aura.
What?
But before we could even react, the figure up and disappeared like some sort of ghost or something. By the time we got a look inside the room, Mr. Edgar was gone. Do you think Kiria kidnapped him?
I need you to think very carefully
How
about
did
this.
he...
Are you certain that figure wasn't Edgar himself?
I mean, Mr. Edgar was so frail. I don't see how he could have moved that fast.
It would seem Master decided to tap into an ill-advised source of power.
What? But that's so dangerous with the condition he's in. It's...
But why? Why would he do that? He's already accomplished his revenge.
No. If his aim was
Why
to
is she
target
calling him
everyone who
Master
had a
if
hand
this is
in Yelena's
Kiryu?
death,
If he left Sylvain alive yesterday, not out of a desire to see him suffer, but to confirm the truth about why Yelena chose to die,
then there's still one target left.
The shadow-like figure ran in the direction of the elevator.
Oh my
and
gosh, we're on the
partner
final
immediately chased after
section.
them.
We should hurry before they're forced to confront each other.
This is the final part, and I really am so eepy.
The merchants nearby.
I don't know why my dog's barking. Oh my gosh. I've been streaming for too long. I thought it was gonna be done like an hour ago.
It's a ghost!
Quest long.
It's all right. Please, calm down and take a deep breath. Can you tell us what you saw?
I saw a black shadow. It ran right past me. How could something like that happen in broad daylight?
Pursue Kiria.
This is terrifying.
Everyone's shocked.
No! Don't come any closer!
What? Where did he go?
If we go any further, we'll be out of Port Ormos. There'll be hardly any witnesses.
It's all right. I can detect a faint whiff of the scent from here. I would say he passed by this location not too long ago. It's this way. Please, follow me.
A whiff? You're smelling? Pursue Kiria. Oh, there's a mushroom here. Oh, thank goodness. Imagine climbing all the way up here. There's a domain here.
The scent is getting stronger. This must be the place.
Recommended elements, Dendro and Pyro. I will bring Diluc.
Let's finish this, swiftly.
Oh! O's!
What?
Are you alright? Were you attacked?
No, I'm all right. I was just chasing after that figure, and then all of a sudden, I didn't feel so hot.
He used some type of
Let me
poison
take a look.
perfume.
The air definitely feels heavy. It smells nice, but for some reason, it's hard to breathe.
This feeling, I've encountered it before.
Everything looks all right. It was probably just the stress of the chase, combined with the impact of the environment. A bit of rest would do you some good.
I can't rest. Mr. Edgar is still in there. He taught my sister how to make perfume. He's a good man. I can't just abandon him to die by Curia's hand.
O's, you need to calm down and listen to me. Edgar is the one we're after. He and Kyria are the same person.
But how is that possible? I thought you said Kyria was in his 30s. Mr. Edgar is 70-something. Changing your
What did he
appearance to
do?
look decades older, that doesn't seem possible.
That's precisely why he had to resort to extraordinary measures to age himself.
Wait, he used the delusion?
Kyria used a delusion to bring back the Auguste flower, corroding his body in the process, just like his older sister.
No. He couldn't have. Mr. Edgar has been in Port Ormos for years. If someone started
When
impersonating
did he
him all of a
replace
sudden,
Edgar?
we would have noticed.
And what if the impersonation started before he ever set foot in SUMERU? I've yet to confirm it, but I suspect Kyria killed the real Edgar Fontaine not long after his release from prison. While Edgar was incarcerated, Kyria started making preparations to replace him, including forcefully aging his body,
My
studying
God.
perfumery, and planning the real
So
Edgar's
the Edgar
demise.
you knew was
The new Edgar then
Kyria?
decided to relocate to SUMERU, seemingly out of an innocuous desire to let go of the past. He even left perfume making in favor of mentoring students. But these decisions were all for a specific purpose: the need to distance himself from anyone who might see through the facade. And SUMERU fit the bill to a T, with no one around to question his identity. All he had to do was grow a beard, don a pair of glasses, make a few minor alterations to his appearance, and everyone would believe he was exactly who he claimed: Edgar, a perfumer from Fontaine. As the years went by, he removed his disguise little by little and continued to refine his skills. It would have been a gradual process, one that ensured no one around him would notice anything unusual.
That explains why Sylvain said he barely recognized Edgar back at the hotel. He aged himself decades beyond his years just so he could accomplish his revenge. Is that even worth it?
I need to find Mr. Edgar. He's not that kind of person. He can't be.
What you really need is to get out of here and rest.
No, I can keep going.
Wait! This environment is likely being influenced by the delusion. Any discomfort, no matter how slight, should not be treated lightly.
Yeah.
I know how to relieve your symptoms, Mr. Ooze. Please come with me and rest. I'm sure Kyria... No, Edgar wouldn't want any more innocent people implicated in all this.
Kale's right. The Traveler and I will take things from here. From our brief exposure to Auguste, it would seem the substance has little effect on us. This leads me to
Because we
believe
have
those blessed with a
visions.
vision or capable of wielding elemental power are more resistant to the effects of abnormal elemental energy. In other words, this environment doesn't pose as much of a
Y'all
risk
are
to us.
plebs.
Actually, now that I think about it, this stronghold likely has multiple points of entry. If the target were to escape from a different point of entry, that might allow him to evade capture. I hate to trouble you, but we need people to survey the perimeter.
Thanks. Hear that? We're heading out. There's work to be done. Ooze, head back to Port Ormos and start gathering reinforcements.
Got it.
Traveler, Emilie, Paimon, please be careful. For someone whose only purpose in life is revenge, there's no telling what they'll do when there's no reason to move forward.
Don't worry. This isn't the end. Not for us or for Kyria. We're not going to let Auguste kill anyone else. It's time for the mythos to fade into obscurity.
And we're doing this. We're playing as Emilie. She is a Lancer unit. Let me see her weapon. Triggers after equipping the equipping character triggers burning. Oh. So in order to use Amelie's weapon, you have to apply
Perhaps they were attracted
fire
here by the
and then
increased level
dendro.
of elemental energy.
Fire and then dendro. And then use Amelie.
Neutralize!
That's weird.
I've never seen these seeds before.
What
They
the?
must also have been created with the power of a delusion. It seems to be avoiding us, and there's no other way forward. Perhaps we could try luring it to the edge of the cliff.
Teehee. I did it. I got you. Give me that chest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, look at all the Auguste flowers!
They're so
There's
weird
so many
looking.
of them. I can't believe a single person did all this. Must have taken a lot of time.
I fear that statement is truer than you know, Paimon. Using a delusion comes at a cost. Not just time, but the time you have left to live.
But why would Kyria need this many Auguste flowers? He only needed a few bottles of Auguste to carry out his plan, right?
Perhaps hatred wasn't the only emotion fueling his obsession with Auguste.
What do you mean?
Not long ago, he told me he didn't want all the flowers transported to SUMERU to wither away in a foreign land. But Kyria betrayed Snezhnaya, abandoned Fontaine, and lived his entire life in SUMERU under the guise of someone else. For someone with nowhere to call home, perhaps dying among a bed of Auguste flowers just like his sister is the best homecoming he could ask for.
Go further in. I forgot how convenient it is to travel through SUMERU. The music in here is so sad. I don't recognize this music. I literally don't recognize this music at all.
Reconstitute! Fresh and floral!
Wind Strider! As one with wind and cloud! Into the wind!
Dawn, break forth!
Did we win? Okay. Where are we off to with this thing? Get out of here. This thing doesn't want to move. Oh, is it because of that light?
A plant that destroys seeds. Huh. Quite the ecological
What
marvel.
the?
Let's head back to the place where the seeds first appeared.
Oh, I'm gonna fail this. They added a little puzzle in here. So I need to be very careful where I'm launching this thing. Ooh, a prettier chest.
The scent of flowers is getting stronger. We're almost at the end.
Old man?
The scent of flowers is getting stronger. We're almost at the end.
He hears
Did
us.
they catch up that fast?
Oh, they've changed his name to Kyria.
No. My strength is just waning.
The delusion. It's Nesnaya. I'm sorry, dude, but we caught you.
Doesn't matter. This is far enough.
What is he doing?
This is a garden of Auguste flowers. But it's not mine. It's the one that was set on fire all those years ago in Fontaine. Yelena? Yelena! You tried to hide it from me, but I always understood. The reason why you continued to use the delusion, the reason why you set your garden on fire, it was all because of me. I shouldn't have listened to you that day. I shouldn't have taken the Mora and ran. But by the time I realized something wasn't right, there was nothing left. The flowers were gone. And so were you. I know I'm almost 20 years too late. I should have come looking for you earlier. I should have died with you that day.
Oh my, she isn't saying
Yelena?
anything.
Yelena!
What?
No! Don't leave me!
Oh, this is when she
Please.
sacrificed
Yelena!
herself.
Emilie?
Um,
I'm alive. No, that's not possible. I saw her.
Yelena.
We were together.
That was an illusion, likely brought about by the residual toxin in your body coupled with the pollen in the air, neither of which are fatal.
No. The amount of Auguste I drank, it should have been enough.
It was fake?
Fake? But how?
We started making the preparations last night with one goal in mind: to create a perfect accord. The accord is the basis of
Oh, a
perfume making.
cutscene.
The
The product in its most primitive form. Ambergris mixed with cedar wood, rounded out with a base note of agar wood.
Oh, look at baby Emilie.
This is the scent of leather?
Exactly. We're unable to extract essential oils from leather, but by combining other raw materials, we can recreate its essence. That is the purpose of an accord.
Does that mean you can recreate any scent in the whole world?
Just be cool.
I'm afraid not. Certain fragrances in this world are simply
So the
one
guy she
of a
knew as
kind.
Edgar was always Kyria.
That quality is what draws people in and fuels their obsessions.
I think, if I'm reading this correctly.
I'll also be one of a kind. Our competitor already got their
Wait, no.
It doesn't matter how much it costs.
I need a timeline of all this.
This fragrance will be one of a kind, no more. Myths can be deconstructed, miracles can be recreated. All it takes is skill, experience, limitless exploration, and a little patience.
Time skip years later.
The only thing left is determining where the real Auguste is hidden. Pretending to be attacked means he's not free to move around. Auguste must be hidden within reach.
Paimon took a peek through the window earlier and his house was packed with flowers.
The curator commissioned a flower pot from Kasharawar capable of retaining heat and moisture.
Perfumes are as
Oh,
beautiful
I forgot
as
Tsunade
flowers,
said
and
that.
equally as delicate. When stored, you must take care to control the temperature and keep them away from direct sunlight. Did you get all that, Emilie?
That's a lot of words, but she got it.
I got it.
So that's when she did the swap. She made an imitation Auguste too. He believed it was the real thing, even the smell.
I was attacked again last night.
So, Sylvain is dead. Is that right?
Well, you did what you did.
Yes, Master.
So, you switched the bottles of Auguste, and then lied to me about Sylvain's death.
Convincing you that your revenge had been completed was the easiest way to get you to let down your guard.
Impossible. Even if you found a way to switch out the bottles.
By letting the other guys
no
die?
way you could have made an accord. If Auguste was so easy to replicate, Yelena wouldn't have.
It was a combination of rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias. Those ingredients would have conflicted with each other if you tried to combine them in the past. But recently, we found a way for them to work together.
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies,
Fontaine, Liyue, and Mondstadt. Those flowers
Auguste
are
was
from...
created over 10 years ago. All this time, people never stopped analyzing it, never stopped trying to recreate it. Perfumery techniques are advancing day by day. We've found better ways to extract essential oils, separate oils and fats. We even discovered new ways to combine fragrances together. The mythos surrounding Auguste may have been untouchable almost 20 years ago, but now it's time for it to become
It's
a
like
thing of the
Freerin
past.
and freaking Zol track.
You've been working as a perfumer for all these years. You should have always known that it is possible to make an accord, even if only in theory. But the meaning you assigned to Auguste became so inflated, you allowed
The
yourself to
very
get
same
lost in
words
it,
he tried
just like the
teaching her.
perfume mania that captivated the public all those years ago. You believed in its divinity and grandeur. You believed it was entirely one of a kind. Your obsession with Auguste is also what allowed us to predict how you intended your plan to end, and to make preparations in advance.
We just didn't expect it to happen so fast.
Or that we were just gonna let the guy freaking die.
Well, you hit the nail on the head now, didn't you? So, Sylvain isn't dead. Since you've been preparing your accord since last night, I assume you've also figured out my method, then. That means the news of Sylvain's death. The crowd gathered
Wait,
outside the
Sylvain
hotel
isn't
this
dead?
morning.
Oh, wait.
It was all
He
an
isn't.
act
Oh my
you
god, me
put
trying to
on
be
with
all
the sheriff.
smirky and be like, wow, we really
Yes.
let that guy die,
If we
huh?
hadn't, you might have resorted to the delusion out of desperation, or continued to use your Spirit Borneal and Auguste combination to wreak havoc.
Who knows? Maybe I would have just offed
Oh
myself
my
then and there.
god.
I know if you had things your way, you would carry the truth of Edgar's demise and the secrets of this garden to the grave, but I'm sorry, Master. I don't want to see any more death. Sylvain only inhaled a small amount of poison.
There's so
He's
much
being detained as we
symbolism in this
All
quest
the crimes he
with
concealed
Amelie.
back then will
You
be
know,
exposed
Amelie
in a court of law
buffs
for everyone
burning,
to see,
and
and all his secrets will be revealed.
I can't help
The same
the
goes for
the
you as well.
original Auguste flowers
Is
all
that
went
so?
away with burning.
Well, I suppose
Oh
I'll
my
be
god.
spending the rest of my days in a prison cell then.
Whoa, he accepted that kind of fast.
I don't feel the need to justify my actions, nor do I intend to repent for them. I did what I set out to do. I may have lost in the end, but it was my choice every step of the way. And if I could do it all over again... But there's no going back, is there?
Careful, everyone. This environment is dangerous.
Calay's here.
Stick close and hurry up.
Can't let Edgar die.
Looks like I'm almost out of time. Although, I do have one final question, Emilie.
Of course, Master.
The combination you used to make your accord. How did you figure it out?
The scent of Auguste is complex and varied, yet the main ingredient consists of a single variety of flower. So, as I was analyzing the sample yesterday, I got to thinking, what if the scent of the Auguste flower was already imbued with that complexity during its cultivation?
You're saying Yelena designed Auguste to have the scent of multiple flowers?
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, Cecilias. The perfumers of the past knew that if you combine their essential oils directly, they would just cancel each other out. It was a conundrum they could never solve. But if you cultivate a new flower species that intrinsically carries the unique features of those three scents, you can bypass that issue entirely. It goes without saying that for that time, this idea was a stroke of genius.
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias. Those really do seem like flowers you would choose, Yelena.
The sting is up. Not long after that, the Eremites rush over. Curia accepts his fate. And we finished the domain. Wow. But are we even close to done with the freaking story quest? Lord knows. This is ending up as long as last week's stream. It was not my intention.
Did you know? Miss Emilie's releasing a new perfume! Right, I heard about that.
Is it gonna be freaking Auguste?
Yelena.
Oh, Yelena. Oh, her name. Oh my god.
Seems like everyone in Fontaine is talking about the new perfume you're releasing.
I just realized we're back in Fontaine.
I was hoping to release it without such a fuss, but the news spread way faster than I expected. I just hope it won't become the source of some new myth, especially after all the work we did to demystify
So is
Auguste.
Yelena the fake Auguste you made? Your version of Auguste?
I did, although I made a few modifications to the formula to make the scent more pleasant and long-lasting. I actually brought a few samples with me today. I hope
Oh, look
that
at
you
that.
like
It's
it.
a cute little potion
Also,
bottle.
I was hoping you could try out the fragrance before I officially release it and tell me your thoughts.
Of course! A good sense of taste and sense of smell go hand in hand, you know? Just leave it to Paimon!
Smelly smell.
Oh, it smells great!
It's alright. All feedback is worth considering. Besides, when it comes to perfume, commenting on whether it smells good is the most straightforward assessment you can ask for. There doesn't always have to be a deeper meaning.
Right! Do those flowers have some special meaning?
I wonder
Hearing their
too.
names
It's
seem
from
to have an
Mondstadt,
effect on
Liyue,
you.
and Fontaine.
If I had to guess, I'd say it probably has something to do with the language of flowers.
The language of flowers?
Oh, girl. Linny told us.
That before?
Rainbow roses are supposed to be.
Hearing something like, the Cecilia represents the true feelings of the
Isn't Rainbow
prodigal
Rose
son?
eternal love or
What
something
each
like that?
flower is said to represent varies by person and across different moments
At least
in
that's what
history.
Linny. I think that's
the
what Linny
same is true
said.
for the flowers that make up the scent of Auguste. After returning to Fontaine, I did some research, and it turns out the meanings of those three flowers can be reassembled to form a single phrase. Forget the past and keep on living. Perhaps that's the legacy Yelena always intended, not the nobility and grandeur most people associate with Auguste.
What she hoped for her brother.
I paid him a visit before his trial and explained what I found, but he didn't seem to care. Who knows? Maybe she didn't mean anything by it at all. That was his response. Yelena is gone. We'll never know what she was thinking. We can look for meaning
Well,
all
when
we
he was
want,
on
but it'll never
trial.
be anything but conjecture. Even if that is what she was trying to say, I would never be able to forget her. Avenging her death? That was the meaning I chose for my life. Curia cultivated his revenge like a flower. He was committed to making it bloom, even if in the end, it didn't bear the fruit he was hoping for. In any case, he did want me to pass along his thanks. Thank you for saving my life, for giving me the chance to learn that Auguste could have carried a very different meaning. Love and hatred are a privilege of the living. When someone dies, their thoughts, feelings, and intentions die with them. In that sense, what Auguste truly represents in the language of flowers will forever remain a mystery. But even if it's only a conjecture, I would like to believe my own interpretation. The meaning we give to flowers, the symbolism we assign to our perfumes, they're constantly twisted and exploited in our imperfect world. And yet, at the very outset, they're born from the simplest and most beautiful desires we hold in our heart.
Dang, that line really hit hard at the end. I really am a sucker for flower language and stuff like that, and that's such a sad, tragic though. The guy freaking still was, you know, made really awful decisions. Especially a whole lifetime's worth of bitter decisions. He truly was awful, but Amelie reacting to all that is very sad. A sample of the perfume Amelie made herself. It is based on a legendary Auguste fragrance that is chronicled in Fontaine's histories. Tilt the bottle toward the sunlight and you will see this flowing line of graceful text. Forget the past and keep on living. Well, not completely forget it. I don't know about completely forgetting it, but yeah, always keep on living. That is a really hard-hitting ending though, dang. You know, I was kind of a snooze fest in the first hour of this quest, but the second half was way better. And this really was 2.5 hours. Like, I was hoping for it to be 1.5, but it's okay. It was still good. I think this was a really strong way to end the Fontaine arc of story quests. And overall, my opinion hasn't really changed. I think they did a fantastic job with Fontaine, from Linny, Neuvillette, Farina, Navia, Xianyun, Chiori, Cloran, Siegemean, Amelie, Arlecchino. They've done a really good job with the quality lift of the character story quests. And I really hope they keep up the writing quality in Natlan. There's other things that are gonna be very we have to wait and see how they handle in Natlan, and I really hope they make the right choices. But yeah, this is the last bit of story content I will be streaming for 4.8. I will be back in like 6 weeks to check out Natlan probably, but for now I'm gonna take a break from Genshin, and I'm gonna end stream because we're going on way an hour longer than I was hoping. Is there anyone I want to raid, or are we just gonna end here? Is there anyone I want to raid? No, we're just ending. Alright, bye. I'll be back later.